Kenny, right off the top, Happy New Year. And can I say, because we're doing this interview today, happy birthday?
You certainly can. It is my birthday. So
happy
thank you very much.
happy birthday, brother. I can't believe that I'm doing this interview with you on your birthday. Aren't you supposed to be out like celebrating?
This is as celebrating as I can get. I'm with a world famous, well renowned journalist, and it's my birthday, and there's fresh snow out there, and there'll be football later on this afternoon. So it doesn't get any better than this until my
Okay.
kids arrive, and then that's as good as it gets.
Okay, now this interview is gonna go up after, but I gotta ask you right off
Yeah,
the top, Buffalo or Dolphins? Who do you think?
got to go with Buffalo. Even though Miami's been very exciting this year, and
Yeah.
Buffalo's more of that, so, but, Buffalo's a suburb of Mississauga, so we got to go with them.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. How was 2023 for you, man? I saw you were busy, and I also saw you post that you were out with lunch. People want to talk about the Americans have the king of comedies. The picture that I saw with you and I do believe it was two other gentlemen, I could call them the Canadian kings of comedy.
Oh, we had a little bit of the free Christmas breakfast with Evan Carter and Ronnie Edwards, so that was a lot of fun.
You know, Ronnie, I interviewed Ronnie. Ronnie was actually one of my first interviews.
Okay.
Definitely my first interview as a comedian, and mad respect. So when I saw the three of you together, I was just like, why aren't they touring together?
Well, it's hard to get anything going, but some people said this be a great show. So, I think it certainly would be. So maybe that's something we'll get together and have lunch and talk about later on, but it would be different. And it's three very different styles.
Exactly.
I mean, Evan was here before I arrived in Toronto, and he had that mainstream working, open up for Marvin Gaye, Bill Cosby influence, and then I arrived, and of course I was all about want to be Peoria, Illinois influenced, and then Ronnie Edwards is the beginning of the West Indian vibe that has become so predominant in the comedy scene, particularly in Toronto now. So it's yeah, it would be a great show.
I hope so. But there's another reason why we're talking. It broke the internet. It has been on every conversation that
Figure
you
black
can
people break
imagine.
the internet. See what happens if you let them on it? They break it.
And let's get to it. Cat Williams, the interview, Shay Shay. Everybody's making comments. The people that he spoke with are making comments. And before we get into what I want to hear what you think, okay? And it all surrounds in a way with Friday After Next, so people know I have been a big fan of this film for
Okay.
years. I bought the DVD years ago, and I watch it every year. It's part of my Christmas run.
See, how come
So
it doesn't get mentioned as a Christmas movie?
it is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, but they always say everybody's always going on. What's a Christmas movie? Oh, well, Die Hard is. Well, what about the day after next? You
This
know,
is because everything happens on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So
yeah.
it is a Christmas movie.
Say no
So
more. You don't have to convince me. I'm with the choir.
exactly. So right off the top, the simplest question, what do you think about all of this?
I love it. First of all, I love Cat Williams. There's only a few comics that I really laugh at. I mean, like laugh out loud. Cat Williams was one of them, and Tracy Morgan is the other. So people with those are my two favorite. And Cat's always been kind of out there, and he's been talking about things and what have you. So, but he just went off, because he isn't really often listed in that top four, top five level of comics, and yet quietly he sells out theaters all across America. And I know he was here all across the world, brother. So he's huge and he's incredible. And it's it's fun because we've been watching, and the war is going to spread to the next country. Got all this negative stuff and south of the border. This is the end of democracy, and here Cat has taken us away from that just by talking some shit. That's all he had to do. He just started some nonsense, and well, Cedric stole my joke, and well, you could sit around and listen to comedians talk about who stole a joke for hours, and that wasn't good enough. And Steve Harvey, he stole Curry, Mark Curry's joke. So
Yes.
he just went there, bangs,
And show and TV show.
yeah, for the concept for it and what have you. So all that was great. Plus, only 1 or 2 days before, Chappelle had come out with his new special. And right away, everybody's there. He's still making transphobic jokes. Well, should he never talk about it again? Yes. But, that's the attitude with it. So, right when they're starting to sharpen their knives, should Dave Chappelle be, he's still doing all of a sudden, the pimp down, and all of a sudden he just comes up from nowhere and bang, just takes it all away and created 25 and 26 million viewers so far and growing.
Yeah. 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 And every time I turn around, somebody's making comments who were spoken about. Like I watched the Ice Cube
Yeah.
response. Did you see that? Just curious.
I watched part of it, then I think the world made me, called me to do something, But he was saying that naturally so and so, would be better for this part than that part. And that's not so outrageous. That's
No,
showbiz.
no. But he did mention about the rape part where Kat said that he refused to have that scene happen to him. And Ice said there was never a plan for that to happen for him. So do you think sometimes that people can get their, well, basically their memories
Is there,
may
but
not be
as I remember, wasn't there a scene where the big cat goes in the bathroom while Cat's in there, and there had
right,
that. Okay,
right.
so
But
who knows how much for that was insinuated? Who knows what
yes,
was supposed to go before then? And of
exactly.
course, you know, Cube, he's been all friendly with Trump last round of elections. So the last thing he needs to do is get in was, so you think rape is funny? Well, you know what? There's a history of a big black men being the sexual dominator and would be rapists and take care of others' manhood. They did it in Oz. They did it in uh, King of the Godfather of Harlem. Better call Big Black. They do it all the time. And sometimes it's played with dread. Oh no, but fear of a black penis, or other times they do it with the humor. Oh shit's gonna happen now. So I could, I won't deny that that I see there's a possibility that was written in because it is a staple in certain kind of humor, right?
Well, let's talk about one of the big things that he talked about, which has been something that has been mentioned for years. Black men, black comedians having to wear a dress. He really got into that, saying, he refused to
Well,
do
he's
that, and
been
he was
beating
offered
that
it.
horse longer than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But but then okay, I mean, when you look at it, it's nothing new. I mean, whoop, child, devil made me buy that dress. We loved it when Flip Wilson did it in 1968. You
Right.
know, Richard Pryor in JoJo Dancer, he did that when they did the thing how they were. So he dressed as a stripper, and he did, or the Honeysuckle Rose or whatever the song was. So he did that version of it. Before then, well, sure, we had Martin and Lachey Shea and all these other things, but men dressed as women has been a comedy tool forever. Milton Berle in a dress, Bob Hope in a dress. Some like it hot,
Yes.
right? Mrs. Doubtfire. So I mean, so men dressed as women, as being sought as humor. But yeah, I get it with the whole emasculation thing and what have you. But when you break it right down to it, I think there's only two prominent black comics that haven't done, something in a dress. and that's Chappelle, and that is Cat.
True. I don't think Eddie did it. I
No,
don't think Eddie Murphy did.
no, I don't think so.
No.
But I mean, they did one of the memes I've seen though. It had Kevin Hart, and I went, "Oh, Kevin Hart is not a pretty girl," and and of course Jamie Foxx. So I don't know. I mean, I don't buy into this whole secret society and the thing that you plant and then he goes out. They appoint you a wife because they all have the same light skin, odd shaped face kind of thing. So I found myself looking at the pictures of the wives, going, "Well, her head's really not that odd." It's like, "Oh, this woman's head is odd. That is ET, man." You think so I don't know. I mean, the thing is just he opened up so many cans of worms to play with. It's great.
You mentioned something on social media that I want to address also, and that was
Uh-oh.
comics stealing other comics material. That was also very prevalent in this interview. You mentioned, and correct me if I'm wrong, you mentioned that back in the 80s, people were stealing your material.
Yeah, it was like about 1983, 84, and there was a comic buddy of mine, and we were in Hamilton, and he did two of my lines. He was, I guess, I was waiting to go on last. So he was a known joke thief, but he did the same jokes. He took my opening joke and he took something else and he did it. And as soon as he came off stage, wham, what the, and so another young comic who was, I think, underage and he used to double as the busboy at that time, Larry Smith. He's still doing comedy out of Hamilton. He had to extend the time while I'm in the back, being restrained, and after I've shoved them into the locker, not in the locker, but
Wow.
it was very physical.
Wow.
But then in there, I heard another great story of two other comics. They had a fight over a joke and they're scrapping backstage. And then one gets introduced. So the guy comes on stage and he goes, I see he's got blood on his nose. He goes, old joke. And then into the thing. So, but I mean, once again, going back to that Milton Berle, why do I keep coming up with Uncle Milty again? Milton Berle, he was famous for stealing jokes. And it seems like
Yes.
in the old days, the old vaudeville or Catskill days, it wasn't uncommon. In fact, they get together and they go, that joke you do about the mini bike and the Chinese guy. Yeah, well, I did it in Milwaukee and it killed. Next night in Cleveland, nothing. So it's an old tradition. And the thing is, you really can't copyright a joke. And as the late great Mike McDonald said, you got to write them quicker than they can steal them.
True. Very true. The whole interview, because for folks who haven't seen it, and I don't know how you haven't seen it, it's over 2 hours long.
It's three
So
hours.
it's 3 hours. Thank you. And there are so many parts. He talks about Prince. He talks about there are so many different aspects to this interview.
Well,
But in
put
in
some
the sen-
cognac out there with a dude that talks anyway, and it's gonna happen. Did you notice that? I
I
don't know.
noticed that.
Even Shannon Sharp had to pour himself a second or like pour two straight drinks after Cat said, "You got to say no to Puffy."
Yeah, yeah, that's a whole other story to get into. Um, why do you think he decided to just air his beef on this particular platform? He could have really done it anywhere else. He could have done it on his own. Why do you think he chose it, or was it something that just happened?
Something may have been, picking at him for 25 years,
Mm-hmm.
or he may have been egged on. But I mean, he walked in calm enough, but it went to it quick. So,
Yeah,
what were they going to talk about? So, I mean, just as much as him, you got to kind of go. Did Shannon Sharp know what he know the hornet's nest that he was whacking with the stick?
true. No, very, very true. I've always said this when it comes to comedians, and he kind of proved that too when he talked about his IQ.
Yeah,
I've always said comedians like yourself are
I don't
probably
think
the
your brother
most.
read 5,000 books a year though when he was 7.
I think he said 3,000, but still.
He's like Davy Crockett, killed him a bear when he was only three. I mean, you know.
But so I always considered comedians like yourself probably the most intelligent people on the planet because you understand the way life works, which is why you folks can work your comedy in. You understand your environment, you understand people, you understand how to interact. But I also have said too that you are probably the most emotionally vulnerable people also because it's almost like you're being told you can't be sad because you always have to be happy. When you have those kind of things to deal with every day, does
Yeah.
that affect a person? And could that be something affecting Kat right now?
Well, I know comics that they could have $15,000 worth of gigs at Christmas time. If they hear there's a festival in the middle of Saskatchewan that pays $400 and they're not considered for it, they're devastated. So the nature of the game, we're all very fragile. And I mean, what makes a person feel the need to go and make a group of strangers, people he'll never know on a first name basis more often than not, to go out there and share your thoughts, your feelings, your experiences,
Yeah.
your theories with drunken strangers. Most of the people that we hope that we get to be in front of to make laugh, we wouldn't want to spend time in a car with them. Not me. I love everybody in the audience. I'd love to have one big 300-seat car ride. It's called a bus, man. But so and if you say this stuff on the bus, they throw you off. So if you see something, say something. Man, last summer I saw somebody on the TTC did not have undies under their dress. And then I heard him say, if you see something, say. I said, I better not say it. I'll get slapped. So, but,
And be quite honest, I think I saw the same person, but I'll talk to you about that
okay.
after. As we're slowly wrapping this up, though, going back to what we said in the beginning, what do you think about this whole thing? What do you think about Kat, and what do you think his future is going to be like now that for people who may not know who he was, and for people need to realize this was his first film, and he made
I've
such an
never seen or
impact.
heard of him before that. I wasn't even familiar with his stand up, I don't think. And I remember being in the theater, and every time he showed up, he just killed me. And from the Barry White hair conk. One of my mentors when I started out as a comic in Chicago, a brother named Orlando Reyes, he wore his hair like that. So as soon as I say, we go, oh, it's a, so he just kills me on several different levels. So, well, I mean, Cats, he has what, 35, I don't think he's ever come to Toronto, but 35
No.
seat, 35 city run. They say the tickets were only going half sale at the time. Well, Cat did this, and they're all gone now. He's probably going to have to add dates, add second shows, do whatever. So right away, it's been great. If somebody hadn't heard of Cat before, this turns him onto it. Great, but you know what? He also won an Emmy for the work he did on
Yes.
Atlanta. So you could be a Black Emmy winner. Well, there's so many awards now. There's awards now tonight. The Golden Globes. But I mean, there's so many awards now that you can be a winner of one and nobody knows or cares or hears or remembers because there's another award the next night. So, and Cat is not mentioned. When's the next Cat Williams film? So he's kind of locked out of that group, which is
Yeah.
he's shooting at the guys that are in there, though. The guys that do have TV pilots, movie deals, so he's very smart, very shrewd. So he's only gonna grow, except for online. I was saying people say, right, protect Cat Williams at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
So now what? Or is a Tupac thing going to happen to him? Is the comic
Yeah.
beef going to get so bad that we lose him to gunplay?
Yeah.
Not him because he checks it but he's been no he got arrested for packing a gun, so he's not going to go unarmed, which then bumps up to does this become gangster comedy now with beefs between comics? So it's going to be interesting. I hope there isn't any foolishness with the violence because that would be a damn shame. But other than this, it's people are still going to be looking for a cheaper loaf of bread when it's all over. So, he did what he's supposed to do, which is be an entertainer. And ain't we entertained?
Who are we entertained?
Like you're
Towards the
glad
last
you
question.
getting
Yes, towards the last question. And this is a personal question for you.
yeah.
Do you think he was telling the truth, or do you think he fabricated some of the things that he talked about when it came to Hart, to Cedric, to the rest of the comics?
Well, everybody's showing footage of Cat doing a joke and then somebody else and then Cedric doing the joke after, or when him and Steve Harvey had the comedy battle in Detroit. And so I mean they're showing that.
And
And
let me add in very quickly. There's even pictures of Steve Harvey going bald. So when he talked about the hairpiece, they're showing pictures of that now too.
or Faison Love, who is such a charming gentleman. I couldn't imagine, even though when you get him on the internet, he's stabbing him with his steely knives the whole time too. So he's another guy. I wouldn't want to see Cat and Horry Holcomb have beef. I think there'd be no survivors. It would only be a wasteland afterwards. But he did what he's supposed to do. It should be how much of it is true? Who knows? I mean, he was saying he can run, a 40 and 4 point whatever, whatever, whatever. I don't know. He lost a fight to a 12-year-old a few years back. Remember that?
I saw that actually today.
Oh, are they playing that again?
They're playing that again. I saw that today where he punched a kid in the face and the kid took him down like UFC.
Yeah, but he'd been in the neighborhood just passing out money before. And another great thing, I've known a couple of people that have worked with him and opened with him, but I'm reading all these testimonials. Somebody doesn't know him. He's like, say they're coming to Cleveland, so they give a Cleveland comic, the opening. He's supposed to get $400. And then after the guy comes off stage, the comic comes off stage, and Cat daps him, and then does the old handshake with your money, and everybody walked away saying I was supposed to get 400, and there's $1,100 here, $700, always more than you were told.
That's true.
And I read that, and it made me feel ashamed that I had not lived my life that way. When you love, I mean, if you're told you're gonna get paid $1,000 and you get paid and it's 1,400, you gotta love somebody. So I'm kind of saying,
True.
man, and I said, well, maybe because you're not really selling out, a 8,000 seat theater or a 500 seat room at $70 a ticket, so you couldn't give the guy the extra 20 like you wish. So it's as we say in the hood, it's all good.
It is all good. But you have a show coming up very soon too, correct?
Yes, we have last Sunday of the month is the Nubian show. This is going to be our 29th year. So thank you. It's I still say it's the hottest show in the country. If I had festival budget, I would compete with some of the bigger shows in the country, but pound for pound, comic for comic, and we're still breaking in new comics, developing the new, the next level, because that's what it originally was about.
Yes.
Everybody's on their urban comedy bandwagon now, and there's 25 different shows of this, spin-offs or similarities. This show's still trying to develop the hitters for the next one. So at the same time delivering your money's worth, more laughs for your buck, more braps for your buck. So got to make sure we've got that happening all the time. So we're still going strong, and the January lineup's going to be tough, and February's going to be just as bad, and we just keep moving. It's a train that don't stop, runaway train.
And I gotta say, man, I absolutely love whoever is doing the posters
uh,
for
Jason Reed.
I.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's a throwback to the 70s and 80s, the way they used to do movie posters and stuff.
Well,
It
that's
reminds me so much of that.
Well, yeah, that's the whole that's the whole spirit that him and I go at it with. So sometimes I go, I got nothing. I don't know anything about horror films, and I'll go Google or I'll go and see what's the hottest movie. Like this month's theme is we did the Wild Bunch, so we did the
Yes.
movie poster from the Wild Bunch, and the December one was Home Alone. So we always try to have something. There was one though I had to pass on after Chris Rock got slapped. The I asked them to do one of Good Hair, the Chris Rock movie.
Yeah, I saw that.
Well, we didn't put that poster up, or I put it up and had it replaced with something else. I just thought, like, how much heat do we want for the poster? And of course now, it's Canadian, United States. Yeah, let's put it out there. What are they gonna do? Tell everybody to come see us? They're so mad. But being Canadian, oh, we might get in trouble for this one. So, you know, he's an incredible artist, and this month's one though they've got me in the front, kind of like as a leader of the Wild Bunch, and they've got me shorter. So I'm going like, oh, he goes, yeah, I try to stretch, but didn't. I'm going, it's great. I'm going, now it's kind of starting to get a bit of a Mad Magazine
Yeah,
feel to the parody of it.
it looks
So,
amazing, man. It looks
yeah, he's
amazing.
great. Yeah, he's
And like I've always said, man, absolute mad respect for you for decades, for everything that you've done for Canadian comedy. Um, I appreciate you doing this on your birthday, so thank you so
thank
much.
you.
And wow, you really explained it all, man. You really did explain it all. And I don't think I could have this kind of conversation with anybody except a godfather of comedy in
I'm just
Canada,
sorry
and you
that you and
really
I
are.
just couldn't have had that cognac to share and work on it for 30 minutes.
We got to work on that, brother. Look, I'll let you go. Happy
Right.
birthday. All the
Thank
best. And
you
we'll
very
definitely talk
much.
soon.
My pleasure. All the best to you in the new